Hi everybody, I know this is a weird camera angle. I'll change it in a minute. But just having a drink, and I thought I'd make a video about ways that you can tell that you might be a psychic medium. This is according to intuitivesoulblog.com. It was written July 11th, 2016 by Jessica. Okay? And she wrote an article about it, and basically I'm going to skip down to the signs that you know you're a psychic medium. It says, number 1, you saw spirits or departed family members after the age of 3. It says, babies and toddlers are still very connected to the spirit world, so it's normal to see a baby laughing at something while playing in their crib. It doesn't necessarily mean the baby is a medium, but after the age of 3, if we aren't encouraged to nourish our connection with the spirit world, we forget all about it as we go about living our physical lives. So if you had spirit experiences after the age of 3 or sense the presence of spirit as an adult, you could be a psychic medium. Let me change positions here. Okay. Number 2, you talked to imaginary friends or hung out with angels as a kid. It says, we're some of your best friends. Oh, sorry. Were some of your best friends imaginary? Did you chill with the angels as a kid? Remember, spirit vibrates at a super high, fast frequency, so if you could sense that energy as a kid or a teenager, it was a good indicator that you could be a medium. Number 3, you always felt different. When you were little, did you feel like you didn't quite fit in? Do you feel that way now? It's like you can't quite put a finger on it, but you've always known that there was something different about you. Not something better about you, just different. Like maybe you long for deeper connections, but it's hard to find others to relate to. Yeah, okay. Number 4, you see things in your peripheral vision. Right here, in the corners of your eyes. For example, orbs, sparkles, shadows, or flashing light. I was thinking of that song. Flashing light, light, light. Okay. I like to call these spirit lights. These are also indicators that you're clairvoyant. If you've developed your gifts, you would be able to see spirit in your mind's eye. So basically, if you meditate, you'll be able to see them. You feel things, number 5. You feel things about places, which is called clairsentience. You walk in a room or drive by a building you've never been in and it's like Shazam! Your body tingles, you get a shiver, or the energy seems to palpitate with heat, cold, or heaviness. You say things like, that place has a great vibe, or this place feels awful. Okay? Number 6, you are or were afraid of the dark. Do you feel like you can sense things when the lights go out? I'm not ashamed to admit it, I sleep with the TV on. I remember as a kid being terrified of the dark because of all the things I could sense. It was scary. I'm no longer afraid of the things I sense, but I do like to sleep. When I was first learning to control my mediumship, I discovered that falling asleep with the TV on gave my mind something to focus on, and I sensed less. Needless to say, I binge-watched TV a lot over the years. I binge-watched a lot of TV over the years. It's like dyslexia kicking in. Okay, number 7. You hear voices. Clairaudience. These aren't spooky voices, and nobody is whispering, "Red Rob!" Rather, it may sound as if you hear people mumbling in another room, or you hear music that no one else hears. Or you may hear music, sounds, buzzing, or voices in your own head. Although if you're hearing voices in your own head, you might want to see a therapist. I'm just saying. That's what anybody else would say. Okay. Number 8. You are easily overstimulated. Loud or crowded places, bright lights, noise, or strong smells. No thank you. They make you feel as if you could crawl out of your skin. This is because you are clairsentient and sensitive to energy. Calm and quiet feels better. Being overstimulated can make you anxious or cranky. That's also what somebody would call empathy. An empathetic person, meaning that, like if they go out into a crowded place, like if they go to Walmart, you get Walmart syndrome, where you go into Walmart and just everybody walking around you with their very hateful, usually, and very busy minds, that you just kind of soak it up, and you take it into you, and you're just left with you almost feel like you've been raped by the time you're done leaving Walmart, because of all of the it's like you're absorbing everybody else's energies around you, and it just makes you feel completely drained by the time you're done shopping. So you tend to avoid going to bigger places like that. Like, if I can avoid it, I'll go to the Dollar General and get my necessities, as opposed to go to Walmart, where I feel like I just freaking got gangbanged by the entire fucking city that I live in. Not that I know what that feels like, but I'm drinking, so I'm just gonna say stupid shit. Okay. You have frequent or vivid dreams. You may even recall experiences of astral travel, or have vivid dreams of past lives or people you never met. You understand animals. You get them. It's like you can communicate with them. Your friends call you the cat whisperer. Number 11, you know things about people without the internet. It feels like you have radar. It doesn't matter what the person looks like or acts like. There's no fooling you. You get people's vibes. Number 12, electronics go bonkers around you sometimes. Alarms go off for no reason. The radio or TV turns on or off. You have to store extra light bulbs because you're burnt out so often. This is because your vibration is so high. Sometimes high vibrations make electronics go wacky. Number 13. You give amazing advice. People feel better after talking to you because you soothe them with words of wisdom. People tell you should have your own advice column. What is dyslexia? What's this all about? Oh, you're probably channeling the divine and not even aware of it. Smiley face. Number 14. You feel the presence of spirits. You sense that there could be a spirit, but you're not sure. Maybe you feel like someone is watching you, but it's just you and Fido hanging out, snacking on popcorn and watching Game of Thrones. Oh yeah. You may feel like a sudden wave of emotion, such as sadness or anxiety associated with presence, which is called clairsentience. You feel, number 15, you feel strongly connected to someone after they've passed away. For example, my aunt passed away recently. For the first week, I could feel her presence constantly. I knew she was around. On top of that, alarms kept going off in my house, and I was getting signs daily, including someone calling my house randomly and asking for Janet, her name. If several of these resonate with you, you just might be a psychic medium. Okay. Well, there you go. Now what? You may be thinking, oh my god, awesome, I'm going to call all my friends right now. Or, no way, I can't be psychic, I don't even believe in that stuff. And it says, I was in the second camp. I didn't believe in psychic mediums at all, so I get it. The thing to remember is that we are all spiritual, intuitive beings, but maybe you just haven't discovered that yet. Here's the cool thing. As a psychic medium, you can live life with an extra dose of awesomeness, all because you can tap into the spiritual realm. I love facts and data, but tapping into the spirit world gives us a whole buffet of goodies and guidance. What being a psychic medium doesn't mean, you will pick up vibes 24/7. That's exhausting. I can't think of anything I want to do for 24/7, including spirit communication. As you develop your mediumship further, you will learn how to shut down your abilities. You will be able to read people's minds. No. Why would you want to anyway? It says, you'll see dead people everywhere. Oh gosh, no. You're not Haley Joel Osment of The Sixth Sense. That was his name? Haley? I'm assuming it's Hallie. Psychic mediums can completely learn to control when they want to communicate with spirit. And the next one says, you will have to use your newfound gifts. Totally cool if you're called to do so, totally cool if you're not. You may even know people who are psychic mediums and still have a regular job, like my friend who works for a TV company. The next one says, you will become everyone's magic 8-ball. No. No. I say take a lesson from Superman or Wonder Woman. They wore snazzy costumes to hide their identity. You don't want to tell people the whole world you're a psychic medium. You can choose to come out of the psychic closet when you feel ready. Says, now chillax and have fun. Relax. You were a psychic medium before you even knew you were one. Nothing spooky will happen. You've just discovered that you can have a richer, fuller life because of your psychic gifts. It says, here are some fun ways to start developing your mediumship. Take a psychic field trip to an antique store. Oh my god. 4 steps to more control over spirit communication. Well, thank you, Miss Jessica, for such an awesome article. And let's go over it again. At least how many of these apply to me? I hope you took down notes as to how many you think apply to you. Saw spirits or departed family members before the age of 3 and after the age of 3. Yes. Yes. You talked to imaginary friends or hung out with angels as a kid. No. You always felt different. You see things in your peripheral vision all the damn time. You feel things about places. Sometimes. You were or are afraid of the dark. You hear voices. You are easily overstimulated. You have frequent or vivid dreams. You understand animals to a certain extent. I know how to read their little body language. Electronics go bonkers around you sometimes. Actually, no, me and electronics have a pretty good relationship. You give amazing advice. Well, I don't want to toot my own horn, but... You feel the presence of spirits. Yep, all the time. You felt strongly connected to someone after they passed away. Well, I think that's pretty obvious, because if you were connected with someone before they passed away, I would figure that you would feel connected to them after they passed away. So, needless to say, yes. So, That's what? 13 out of 15? So, yeah. Anyway, hold on. Just give me a second. Okay, a little bit more elaboration on the whole subject of mediumship. If I were to say that I had any kind of spiritual goal, it wouldn't be the whole, I want to elevate my spirit so that I can get closer to God kind of thing. No. It would be communication. See, I'm a Capricorn with a Libra ascendant, so needless to say, I will admit to the fact that I do kind of like being in the spotlight, hence the YouTube videos. I like to talk. It's not that I like to hear myself talk, it's that I like to know that my talks rang true to somebody. I like to know that I helped somebody, hence the previous Wellbutrin videos. I like to know that somebody had a better day because of my horrible experiences. Okay? So when it comes to mediumship and the whole psychic realm and that sort of thing, you know, a lot of people say that we all have these abilities, that we just have to tap into them. The little antenna has to go up. We have to allow the little antenna to go up in order for us to have the know-how, basically, to tap into the spirit realm. Yeah, since I was a little kid, I have a video talking about all of the paranormal experiences I've had, and that's not covering just over the past couple of months. I've already seen quite a bit. It's wonderful in the sense that I'm not afraid of the things that I used to be afraid of anymore, because they've been redefined. And it's also horrible because it's like my brain already has a hard time shutting down, and then when you have this extra stimuli, it's really nerve-wracking, to say the least. I mean, yeah, I am constantly seeing stuff out of the corner of my eye. I am constantly seeing those little sparkles. You know, it kind of looks like if you're looking at a piece of glitter from the distance. It looks like there's a piece of, like, I'll always see it in the same spots around the house. And believe me, I've checked. It's not glitter in the paint or glitter in the walls or anything like that. It's just this little twinkle, basically. And some people will say, "Oh, it's you have a torn retina." That there is a scientific evidence that explains those little twinkles, and it's a torn retina. I think. Look it up. I don't know. I do have floaters in my eyes, if you don't know what those are. It's kind of like when you're looking up into the sky, middle of the day, and you kind of see these little things. They look like lint going right in front of your pupil, and they just kind of drift off. Those are floaters, and what they are calcium deposits floating around in the eyeball juice in your eyeball. Okay, so sometimes you'll see white ones and sometimes you'll see black ones. And what the black ones are they say that they are basically a shadow of the white ones. So I'll have those as well. So I mean, there's a chance that I could have a retinal tear. I mean, that's a distinct possibility. I'm not going to dismiss that. But then the the dreamer part of me wants to believe that, oh, I'm getting looked after by angels, you know. But I don't know, whatever the case may be. I see those frequently, like on a daily basis. Yes, I hear voices before I go to bed. I'll be right. It's like right before you're about to achieve that REM state. Right. Well, no, actually, right before you're about to drift into sleep is when I'll hear the voices, and that started happening when I was a teenager. It would sometimes sound like two people having a conversation that I happened to be eavesdropping on. Sometimes the voice would be talking to me. Sometimes I would hear like a stadium of people talking and roaring and clapping and booing and jeering, you know, that's the same thing. I would hear all of that. My boyfriend has a theory that it's the fillings in my mouth picking up like radio waves. And they joked about it on Gilligan's Island, so, I mean, I don't know. That's the thing, is I don't know if that's possible or not. But if it is, well, there you go. And yeah, I feel presences around me all the time. And lately they've been dark silhouettes. I see dark silhouettes, and they like to... They don't really pick on me, I'll tell you that much. I've seen... I've seen a shadow cat. I've seen shadow dogs. Okay, just over the past 2 months, I've seen a shadow person. I've seen a shadow cat. And a cloaked figure. And I'm not as scared of them. Like, okay, if I were to be sitting here talking to you right now, it's 7 p.m., yeah, it would probably scare me. But what's weird is that when I see them is when I'm like kind of half asleep, and I just kind of like pay them no mind. I'm like, yeah, whatever, leave me alone. Like, what do you want? Go away, leave me alone. And that's the time that it should scare you the most, you know. And anyway, I'm not complaining. I think that these past couple of years have been a real test, and everybody has to go through those tests. I know that I'm going off on several different tangents, but it all relates to the whole mediumship thing. A person that claims to be a medium should have probably gone through a lot of trials in their life, you know, because the truth of the matter is not everybody is tapping into the other side, you know. Some people will say that they are just to, you know, just to get notoriety, to write books, to make a profit, whatever the case may be. But the real ones that really are talking to the other side, and they're not even really trying to do so, you can usually tell. You can usually tell because they will know things that your average Joe, even your average Joe with Google and Wikipedia and, you know, a sense of human behavior, wouldn't really know, you know. The spirits don't really do things necessarily that your average Joe would do. So they're not predictable like people. Oh boy. Let me see. The whole you give amazing advice thing. That can hold true to a certain extent. It depends on what you're giving advice about. I mean, I personally wouldn't take advice from somebody if I thought that they didn't know what they were talking about. Like, I'm not going to take advice from a fat person about how to lose weight, right? Okay, that sounds mean. But it's true. I'm not going to take advice from an alcoholic on self-control. You know, I'm not going to take advice from somebody who's always going in and out of relationships on how to lead a meaningful relationship, right? I mean, it's common sense, isn't it? So when they say, when the article says you give amazing advice, I think what it means is in terms of those people that are empathetic. A person that's empathetic is somebody that can just pick up on emotions, and that just looked like I was simulating a, never mind. People that can pick up on emotions, and people that can just kind of have a radar go off on how the general room is feeling. Like they can sense an asshole a mile away. And it's also, I gotta say this, scientifically, it's also because most people are pretty transparent with their emotions, and you can see how they're feeling on their face. So if you can read body language, you can usually read how a person is just written all over their face. Like people tell me that I always look angry. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm always happy. You know? And I was like, I can't help it. It's just the way I was born. Anyway, going off on a tangent. The whole electronics going bonkers thing, I would think that that would happen when you are trying to contact a spirit, because the whole theory is that they need energy to put energy out, you know. So I can see how that would be pertinent in that situation. You know things about people. Well, yeah, because people are, like I said, transparent. I mean, they pretty much let you know. Everybody wants to have their 15 minutes of fame. Everybody wants to tell you their life story for the most part. Hold on. Everybody wants to be heard, whether they admit it or not. And people that are empathetic can usually pick up on that. Like, oh yeah, that guy over there, he's just like dying to talk about himself. You know, that they can pick up on that. The whole, you understand animals. Once again, because animals are transparent, they're gonna let you know how they're feeling. You know, it's if you can read body language, you can read an animal. You have frequent or vivid dreams. Yeah, because a lot of the times when a spirit is trying to communicate with you, they know that you're gonna provide the least resistance when you're in a calm state. That's why the people tell you all the time to meditate, because you're in a calm, serene state. And you're more open to receiving message. Just in general. You ever heard people say that when somebody's asleep, they'll go and whisper in their ear, and then the next day the person will be like, "This is the weirdest thing happened, you know, I heard somebody whisper, I heard somebody tell me in my dream, you know, yada yada yada." And it was actually you whispering in their ear. Well, it's kind of the same thing. They're listening, but not. You know what I mean? Kind of like when somebody's in a coma. Says you are easily overstimulated. Yeah, once again, empathy. People get overstimulated because they are open to everything. You hear voices, we went over that. You are or were afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of the dark, I'm afraid of the light. Let me tell you what, anything that's there in the light is there in the dark. Anything that's there in the dark is there in the light. I think that it's actually you helping it to manifest. So if you see something in the dark, it's probably because you're overthinking it, and it appeared because they feed off of that negative energy, you know? And they're like, oh, you want me to appear? Oh, don't mind if I do, you know? So, and since they feed off your energy, you're essentially feeding them by being afraid. Anyway, you see things out of your peripheral vision. Yeah. That just happens. You always felt different. Well, I think that's obvious though. You know? You talk to imaginary friends. I did not do that. My sister did. And my sister is a big weirdo. And I don't think she'll be offended by me saying so. And you saw all this after the age of 3. Yep, pretty much. It sticks with you for life. You know? And like I said, my ultimate spiritual goal is to be able to communicate, to help. So it's not like I want to take it to a dark side, or I'm going to take it to a light side, or I'm going to, you know, be this or that. I want to be kind of neutral in between, and just kind of help people, and just kind of communicate and relay messages. And also, I want to understand their side better, to the best of my ability. I want to understand what it's like for them. I have a general idea, but we all know that we're not necessarily meant to comprehend that side. Our little tiny encapsulated brains, as wonderful as they are, can only understand so much. So what I could understand, I do. And I'm hoping that they help me to see where I'm going also. It's also like a matter of control, you know, like I want to know where I'm headed, you know, kind of thing. So, I don't know if you guys are watching this, for the few of you that do, and you felt that any of these things rang true to you, maybe you should look into it, you know. This world needs more people, because the medium is very sympathetic. Need more people to be sympathetic, just in general. We need more sympathy in this world. If we had more sympathy, I think things would be a whole hell of a lot less hellish, so to speak. So, questions, comments, whatever the case may be, you know where the subscribe button is, and you know where the comment section is, so feel free to take part in either one. That's about it for now. 26 minutes, and we'll see you next time.